Today's Daf Kuf Hey, is sponsored Le'ilu Nishmas Kela Zelda Bas Avram. The first inyan that we discussed is the additional fifth that the Torah imposes upon a Ganav who swore falsely. Is it a chiyuv mammon, or is it a mitzvah for the purposes of atonement? The difference is if the victim can sue the thief for the money or not. If the additional fifth is a chiyuv mammon, he can sue him. If it's a mitzvah, he can't. The Gemara brings three proofs that it is a monetary obligation. The first is our Mishnah. It says the thief does not have to travel to pay the fifth to the victim, but from the Mishnah we infer he owes it to him, he just does not have to travel to him to pay it. There is a brisa that obligates even the son to pay the fifth if his father swore while he was still alive, admitted, and then died before paying. However, the Torah's Kehanim, the Medrash Halacha, exempts the son even if the son himself took an oath. This is a case where the stolen item no longer exists. Although the thief, if he were alive, he would have to pay the value of the theft. The son is obligated to return only the stolen item. Therefore, the oath does not qualify as denying a monetary obligation. Still in all, even though he doesn't have to pay the additional fifth, he has to pay the principal. Why? Because the father left him land. The court's decision requiring the thief to pay is tantamount to a documented loan that creates a lien on the debtor's property. He is exempt, however, from paying the fifth because his oath only denied the lien. Since one does not swear regarding claims on land, his oath is legally inconsequential. Now there's another answer, the final answer of the Gemara, which is Rava, to distinguish between the Torah's Kohanim and the Brisa, and he answers that the son was unaware of the theft. So when he swore falsely, he swore inadvertently. The requirement of the fifth is only where one swears falsely intentionally. The next inyan is the din in the Mishnah that does not require the thief to travel to the victim to return less than a shava pruta. Here, the Gemara presents two versions. The Gemara's first version states, if the stolen items still exist, then there is a concern that the price may go up, eventually rising to a shava pruta, which would disqualify the carbon asham that he brought retroactively, since he must pay the money before he can bring the sacrifice. The second version states that even if the price rises, it would not disqualify the sacrifice. He would be required to return the stolen item, but the carbon would be still a kosher carbon. The next inyan is the price of the stolen items decrease below a shava pruta. Let's say, for example, he stole 3 heads of lettuce, each one being worth a pruta. The price decreased to 3 for 2. According to Rava, he has to return the third, even though now it has no significant value. Actually, this law is a Mishnah that we learned previously. If a robber steals chametz that becomes aser b'hana during Pesach, and it no longer exists, the thief has to pay its value at the time of the theft, even though now it is not worth anything. If he stole 2 lettuces worth of pruta and returned 1, he is no longer a thief. The Gemara explains why. He possesses less than a pruta of what he stole. But he did not fill the mitzvahs of hashava because he returned nothing. Similarly, a nazir who left 2 hairs, the first fell out and the second one he cut, so he has no hair left. However, by cutting only one of the 2, he did not fulfill the mitzvah because he has cut a minimum. He has to cut a minimum of 2 hairs, and he only cut 1. The next Indian is a thief swore falsely that he did not steal chametz after it became aser bana. So he took an oath on something of no value. In this case, Rava was uncertain about the din. Why? His oath was not a denial about a monetary obligation, since the chametz presently has no value. On the other hand, if the chametz was stolen from the thief, and the thief could not say to the victim, Harei shelcha lefanecha, he would have to then pay its value at the time of the theft. Rabbah held that in this case, where for example, the thief confronted by the victim claims, in fact, that he agrees that the animal belongs to the victim and swears that he is some kind of shomer, even though now he did not deny a monetary obligation, only later it would be considered a denial. If something happens to the animal, he would be exempt. If, let's say, for example, the animal died ba'ones or machmas malacha, he would not have to pay, whereas he would not be exempt as a thief. He is liable to pay its value at the time of the theft, plus the fifth and a carbon. So we see, according to Rabbah, that the potential of paying is enough to make him liable. The law for a thief who was moed be'iker, if he returns the stolen item, he is exempt for confessing the basic obligation, because he stands to gain nothing from the false oath. However, if he does not return the stolen item, he is not exempt, since he stands to gain at a later point from the false oath. The next Indian in the Gemara is where one witness withholds testimony concerning a lost object by way of a false oath. Rabbi Chanina holds that in such a case, he is exempt from a carbon for a false oath. The reason being that there's only a possibility that this testimony will benefit the loser. Shmuel, on the other hand, holds, based on the principle davar agarim memammon k'mammon dami, that he has to bring a sacrifice for the false oath, since there is a possibility that he could have helped him by way of his testimony to retrieve his lost object.